Hi. I see that people are joining, and I was like, you know what? Even though we're all early, great. I kind of like to reward people who are on time or early. So, welcome to the webinar, 7 minutes early, 6 minutes early. If you have any questions or just want to let me know who you are or post your website, there's a chat box. I think it's this way. Maybe it's this way. For me, it's this way. You can just type in your message there. You can select everybody so everyone can see it, or you can say to admin, which is the fancy word for who I am today, if you want me to just see it. So feel free to do that, and we will just hang out here until everyone else shows up. And I'll get started in about, 6.5 minutes according to Apple time. But I'm really excited that you're here. So figured, why not hop on? I don't need to be all official and start right at 1. So yeah, so who's here? Let's go to this little chat box. No one wants to chat with me. Fine. No problem. You don't have to talk to me. Here's something else. While you are here, I have a poll. I'm always curious what the current struggle for musicians is, because I know what mine is. So I've got this little poll that you can vote or add your own what do you call it, option there at the end. But what's your biggest challenge as a musician? The ones I hear most common and the ones that I've struggled with are finding fans, like finding good fans, like the ones that will keep coming out, that will share your stuff, that will contribute to your fan funding campaigns, those kinds of fans. That's been a struggle for me. Finding money, and I don't mean like digging through the couch and finding some quarters, although that is always very satisfying. I mean, finding the places that make sense to go make money, that are in line with what we want as a career. Finding time, especially if you've got a day job, which I did for years and years and years, finding the time and energy. I think energy is part of that, to really put aside time to work on your career and be really effective, like do things that are going to matter, which is kind of what we're going to be focusing on today. And then last, but already seeming to be more popular, is getting a strategy. So you'll hear me say this a lot, but I hate the idea of throwing spaghetti against the wall and seeing what sticks. So I'm a big fan of having a plan and being intentional. So anyway, so what are your biggest fans? What is your biggest fans? What is your biggest challenge as a musician? Finding fans, finding money, finding time, or creating a strategy. So there's a little poll there you can fill out. Guys, I curled my hair for you, so you early birds get to see it, because curls never stick around for me. So, I was just playing around with it just for fun. Hey, now there's the chat room. Cool. Hi. Let's see, Juliet. Brian is here. I like that. Brian is here. Hi, Sharon. Marlene from Houston. I love it. So awesome. All right. You guys are early. So fill out the poll there. Does it show up? I think it should show up, right? In the chat. Yeah, you guys are seeing it. So I appreciate that you're early. Go grab some summery drink. I've got my grapefruit LaCroix, which feels too fancy for me, but I'm going to drink it anyway. And then we can get going. You guys can hear me and see me, right? I'm assuming that someone would tell me. Please do tell me if this starts to sound a little bananas. Cool. All right. So we've got Marlene from Houston. I'm in the Hudson Valley, which is about an hour and a half north of New York City. So where is everybody from? I'm always curious to see how the internet works, where people are. So go ahead and tell me. We've got you. Marlene, you rock. Awesome. Thanks, Sharon. You guys are so great. I'm excited about this. Los Angeles. I love Los Angeles. My sister's moving there in 4 days from New York. So I'm really excited for her. And I'm also psyched to have a place to stay for free. And I'm also a little sad that she's moving from New York. But Atlanta, Chicago. Oh my gosh. I love it. All my favorite cities. We got some city people here. Awesome. Very cool. Oh, I bet it's really hot in Atlanta. I don't know. Is it? Maybe it's not. I'm not so great with how hot it gets, how south, especially this time of year. Free room and board. Yes, that is true. The best part of having friends and family everywhere is totally free room and board. I agree. All right. So we've got 1 minute to let the other people join, and then I'm going to be super prompt here. One thing that I want you, Boston and Nashville. Oh, Nashville, we're going to meet in Nashville. Yes, we are. I'm going to be there in August. Houston, always hot. That makes sense. You guys, I think I could just chat with you forever. So I won't do that. I promise. This will be packed with value. Be prepared to put your websites in this comment. Don't do it now because I don't want to have to scroll through at the end. If you can hang with me at the end, I'm going to stay on a little extra, and I'll do some website reviews, and we'll talk about why that's important in this next hour. But, we'll do it live, and you can actually we'll have a conversation. And look at that, Omaha. I love it. All these great cities all over the country. I think we could create a tour right with this group here and hit all the awesome cities and do some crowd sharing, stage sharing things. So, all right. Well, I'm going to get started here because, it's 1 o'clock and I like to be on time here. So I am going to start just by saying hi. Thank you for being here. My intention is that this is a really valuable hour. And like I just said to the people that are the early birds, we will go over a little bit if you want to get into conversation and talk about your website and how to sort of tweak that. That's going to be one area of this webinar. So I'm going to actually share my screen because I made some fun slides for you guys. And I'm going to make that happen for you. So again, if you can't see this or hear me for some reason, just type it in the comment because I'm going to keep checking those. Small, so we don't want to do that. We want to go nice and big. There we go. All right, can you guys see that? Is it beautiful? You should see me looking very excited about my headphones that are plugged into nothing. I'm gonna just assume it's working because no one's saying anything. Okay, so welcome to the 5 keys to magical money-making music career success. That is me, and I am super, super psyched to have you here. And I don't know why it says money making on the top. It should say career success, but oh well, we're going to deal with it. So you are in the right place if you are someone who wants to make a career with music, but you're not sure where to start, or you wish your music made you more money. Also, if you are tired of cold calling and pitching with no response, this is also the right place to be. And if you want more clarity, time, money, fans, all that stuff we were talking about on that poll, insert whatever it is you want, then again, you have indeed come to the right place. So one thing that I'm going to do, I'm actually going to end, now that I know this works, I kind of like talking face to face. So I'm going to it's staying. So I don't want to be sitting behind a bunch of slides. And I've done this a bunch of times, so I know what I'm going to say, and I'm excited to say it. So I will switch back to some slides. I've got some stuff to show you later. So anyway, today we're going to cover where you are now in your music career and where you want to be, because they may not be the same place. If you are exactly where you want to be in your music career, I'm not sure why you're here. Also, I want to know your secret. But we're going to talk about 5 key areas to focus on to take your music career to the next level. These are things that I figured out over a bunch of years, and I've sort of categorized them as things that I need to do every day to maintain and keep moving forward. So we're going to get into what those are, and I'm going to give you some actual actions that you can do today to start seeing new results. So this isn't a webinar that's going to motivate you, and then you're going to leave it and you're going to be like, now what? I hate those. So that's not this. We're going to create a specific plan for your goals, incorporating each of those key areas. That comes down to the actions we're going to take. And I'm also going to present an opportunity for you to dig in and truly master each area. And if you stick with me to the end, we'll do a quick little website review of as many websites as I can get through before my next call. So in the chat box, you can put your website towards the end. I'll let you know when, so I don't have to scroll through all the chats and find you if you want to get some feedback on your website. And also share with everybody else who's watching and who will watch later. So what you're going to unlock here in this webinar, I use all the key analogies. I like keys. I'm a big fan of those old keys that unlock the big doors. Anyway, by the end of this hour, my intention is that you feel clear on your next steps, that you feel confident that you can generate income from music because it is possible, and excited that you're one of the lucky few that actually gets to do what you love. By the way, you should have gotten an email reminding you for this webinar that had a link to download a workbook. So if you want to take notes along, like there's some fill in the blank stuff, if that's the kind of way you like to watch webinars, I created it for you. If it's not your jam, then just hang out here. All right. So like I said, at the end, I'm going to give away from some stuff. There's going to be a couple bonus things and checklists and fun things, but that's just if you are here live. So if you're watching this back in the future, sorry about that, next time. And I do run this webinar every once in a while because I like having this conversation. So next time. All right. So I'm going to start with some facts because today's music industry is changing rapidly. We all know this. You hear this at all of the panels, and anytime you log on and you see an article about streaming or, all the stuff going on. So it's thriving in this music industry is hard, but it's not impossible. And we just sort of have to figure out what ways can make it work for us and what we ultimately want. So here's some fun facts that are provided by Statista.com and PwC. So it's very official. 51% of Americans went to live music concerts in 2015, which has been growing steadily since 2011. So it's very good news for anyone who does the live show thing. In 2016, the average American listened to 728 minutes of streaming radio. In 2012, it was only 586. So streaming is definitely growing and people are consuming music more. This is my favorite fact. Global music revenue in 2016 reached $15 billion, and independent musicians made up 34% of that market. So it's not 100% of the record labels taking all of that money. 34% of 15 billion went to the indie music community. So the takeaway is that there is a market for your music. Very exciting. Anyone excited? Give me a 1 if that is good news. A 1 in the comment, is that a thing that you can do? Yeah, if you type 1, that means that, okay, we're getting a little hopeful here. Hope is good. So the thing that has us be off key, right? Another key pun. Yay, 1s. Okay. Here's the thing that has us be off key. There's some common mistakes that musicians make, and I only know this because I've made all of them. The first one is waiting for someone to find you, like going to a gig and expecting to perform and like having that industry executive in the audience and being like, they're going to make it for me. It just doesn't happen. It's really disempowering when we're waiting on someone else to do that for us. Second mistake is not knowing what you really want. Say that 10 times fast. This is a big thing for me. Like I would do a lot of trial and error, and you'll hear a lot of people give the advice, oh, just try this, see if it works, try this, see if it works. But that wastes so much time, like years of so much time. So my big analogy is I do not like throwing spaghetti against the wall and seeing what sticks. I really like to be intentional and take actions that I know are going to make a difference. And yes, that means that sometimes things won't work, but it doesn't mean that I'm just willy-nilly trying a bunch of things with no real direction. So we're going to dive into that hardcore today. Third mistake is misusing time, therefore not making anything happen. Like time management is something that we don't really focus on because we're just going. But if we take a second to create a plan and know what actions we're going to take, we're going to be way more effective with the time that we do have. 4, not knowing where to start. So also doing nothing. That's when you get all of these different ways, you see all these different paths that you could possibly take. You see other musicians doing certain things. Maybe you've taken a course that has like 400,000 different ways you can make money in the music industry. It's kind of intimidating. Like, where do I start? What's the path that is going to work for me? The way to make money that is going to really make me have a fulfilling lifestyle and a music career that I love. So if you don't know where to start, like that's, for me, the number one thing that's going to keep me not doing anything or watching Netflix. 5th mistake, targeting the wrong fans or trying to please everyone. This is another thing I do. I don't want to lose any one fan. I sort of get a little desperate around like, I don't want to lose this fan, or I don't want to upset this one person, or because they could ruin my life. Like that, that's not a thing. And you can't please everyone. So you have to do you and find the cross section, I like to say, between who you are and who your ideal fan is, so that there's a little compromise, but you're always being true to yourself and you're going to attract those right fans. The last big mistake that I noticed I did, and a lot of other musicians I talk to tend to do, is thinking that DIY, do it yourself means DIA, do it alone. It does not mean do it alone. Doing it yourself does not mean doing it alone. So I'll just say that. So today we're going to talk about how success in the music industry is not necessarily out of reach. It's time to get back on track. And we're not going to be using trial and error, not in this webinar. Maybe that's a thing that you can do later, but for now, we're going to be really intentional on the actions that we take. So we're going to use these 5 keys to guide the plan for the next action. So here are the keys. I'll say them and then I'm going to jump back into my slides because I think they're going to start to be kind of important here. So the first one is brand consistency. Second one is pitching music. Oh, like worst thing ever, right? Third one is fan engagement. The fourth one is income, generating and managing it. And the fifth key is structures for success. Okay, so we'll get into all those in a second. So I'm just going to quickly give you a little, you're here. I'm so glad that you're here. Thank you for being here in the middle of the week. And I'm here because I know the struggle is okay, so back to my struggle. My struggle is real. I could barely pay my rent in Harlem. I was touring and making records, which obviously cost money, but I wasn't making that money back. So I had a bunch of odd jobs. I had a day job. I had no time to focus and definitely no energy. And my biggest thing, like I said already, was thinking that I needed someone else. So I was just always disempowered. I was walking around kind of like, are you my mother? Are you my record label? Are you my, like, just ugh, gross. So I'm here because I get it. So that's all I really wanted to say. And if you don't know me, I know there's some of you that have done this webinar with me or done some courses with me before, but if you don't know me, hi, I'm Cheryl. I'm a singer-songwriter and I've got 4 records out. The last one came out last year and I've got over 40 TV placements from songs off of those records. I've toured all over the United States and Europe. I've been to Switzerland 7 times and played festivals there. It's my favorite place on the planet. And my last 2 records were both fan-funded for over $20,000, which is kind of cool. I got my start as a composer and I still am a film and commercial composer. I've done over 60 scores for collegehumor.com, which is kind of fun. I've written music for over a dozen documentaries and short films. And I've gotten a bunch of my own scores on nationally airing commercials like Honey Nut Cheerios, Ziploc, and Kia. So the last thing that I do, the third branch of what I do sort of happened by accident. And that is I am a career coach and I've done a lot of one-on-one work with musicians and I've spoken for thousands of people at South by Southwest and ASCAP Expo and various colleges. And some of the courses and things I've created out of those talks have been supported by Bandzoogle and CD Baby and some awesome indie music companies. So, you know, there's a little bit of legit there. But what I really want to do is, because I got my start as a jingle composer, one of my friends was like, you write music for jingles? I was like, yeah. She's like, do you have a jingle for yourself? And I was like, oh, that's brilliant. So I made one. I have one. It's 30 seconds. So instead of going on and on about my story, I'm going to show this to you and then we're going to get on with it. So hopefully this works. And if not, I'm going to put the link in the comments and you can watch it later, but I'm going to just play it and let's see if this works. Dum, dum, dum. Stand by.
Hi, I'm Cheryl of CBE Music LLC. I write music like this for ads, films, and TV. Sometimes I'm asked to make it funny or dark and epic or simple and sunny. I also write songs and sing them too on stages big and small for fans old and new. You can find me sharing about this in books and blogs and conferences you won't want to miss. That's what's up in my CBE jingle. I'll write one for you that'll make your ears tingle.
Or not. It said mute, unmute. In case it didn't work. That's adorable. Okay, so there's just looks adorable. Well, either way, if you were unable to hear that, then I am sorry. But that's me. So that's me in a nutshell. And that actually gets me a lot of work. If you type in jingle composer into YouTube, it's the #2 thing that shows up. And I have actually got people hiring me because they wanted a jingle like that. So That's fun. Thanks, Carolyn. I'd hire you too. So let's get back to it. So that's me. So now you got the gist. So if you don't have a pad and pencil or iPad or something fancy to take notes on, do yourself a favor. Grab something to write down, because I'm going to ask you 2 questions and then we're going to get into this. So the first question is, and this is what you want to write down, where are you now? So what is the snapshot of your music career right now? And this changes like daily for me. So if you've answered this question already, think about it where it is today. So what's the snapshot? What projects do you have going on? Do you make any money from music? Who are you working with? Are you psyched about it? Just take a second and write that stuff down. And then take a look at what keys are missing. So of these 5 areas we're talking about, how's the branding going? How do you feel about pitching? What about your fan engagement? What about the income? And do you have a strategy in place? So which one of those could use a tune-up? We're gonna get into that. So once you sort of jot down a couple words so that you can remember this, we're going to come back to this later. You want to think about, where do you want to be? So this is my magic wand question that I love to ask. If I hit you on the head with a magic wand or did some spell and you had the perfect music career and lifestyle and you didn't have to worry about how to get there or money, what would be different? What would be different from now? What would be the same? There's a good chance that some stuff would be the same. What are you doing daily and with whom? And how are each of these keys incorporated? So how have you mastered your branding? How do you feel about pitching? What's going on with your fan engagement that's top notch? How's the income? How's the strategy? Do you feel like you're still you've got your momentum and you're still on a really good path? So think about that. It's hard for us to do sometimes. It's hard for us to picture that perfect, because we're so in it right now trying to just get a little movement forward. It's hard to picture, where do we ultimately want to go, big picture. So when you've got that, the big question now is, what's stopping you from having that? Like, what's the gap? Like, why can't you have that today? So today's conversation is about these 5 keys and how taking actions in each of them can actually get you a lot closer to where you want to be, which is fun, right? So now I'm going to share my screen so that we can get into these 5 keys. So stand by. You need a strategy. Producing your own CD as a soundtrack for your novel. That's cool. Wow. There's a 5-second audio dropout. You guys are so awesome. Thank you so much. Okay, there's a 5-second audio dropout when we change between screen share and live video. Got it. So I should stop running my mouth when I'm switching. Will do. So I'm going to switch now. Here we go. Hold on. I want to switch. Yeah, here we go. All right. It's asking me which screen I want. Here we go. You guys, this is the first time of me using this platform, so you're a little bit of my guinea pigs. So while I'm switching here, professional music career, long way to go, but yay. Yeah, it's awesome. It's super fun. So here we go. Let's talk about brand consistency. This is the first thing. So branding is something that works for you in 2 ways. It helps to attract the right fans, and it tells those fans what to do. By the way, because you're on this live webinar, I'm actually going to give you all these slides, so don't feel like you need to write all this stuff down. I'm going to send you a big PDF with all of them. Also, it's just started thundering outside. Yay, awesome. So brand consistency. When I say consistency, I mean that your website looks like your Facebook page, header looks like your Twitter. Like, you go to each of those things. If you have a black and white website with like one, let's say hot pink color as a little accent color, and then you go to your Twitter header and it's like tie-dye rainbow, like the experience is that A, I'm confused. I don't know if I landed in the right place. B, it sounds like you don't know what you want and how you want to express yourself. So you're going to have a hard time finding that fan that is in line with what you want to. So this is why brand consistency is so important. Branding includes graphics, the obvious stuff, right? Colors, fonts, social media header images, Facebook, Twitter, SoundCloud, all this jazz, right? A logo if you have one, but it also includes website organization, how you present your stuff and in what order. Your email signature, everything you put in your email signature, that is branding as well. And how you talk about yourself in music. When you talk about yourself and you're not really clear on what it is you want, no one else is going to be clear either. So if you know that you want people to sign up for your mailing list and you're talking like that, they're going to be clear on what there is to do. The more clear you are, the more clear the action that you want other people to take is going to be. I hope that makes sense. Brand consistency. Branding reflects what you want most for your career. This is something that I never hear anywhere else around branding. Everyone's talking about the graphics. The graphics, yes, they're a reflection of what you want most. They're a reflection of what you are committed to, what your purpose is, who you are as a human being. Because when you're really clear graphically about who you are with your colors and your organization and what you want, then, like I said, other people are going to be clear, but it's also, branding is doing a really cool thing for you. It's showing people who you are so you don't have to tell them. That's cool, right? So here's some quick actions that you can take today to fine-tune your brand consistency. So fine-tune your website, get the colors and organization so it's reflecting who you are right now. And this is maintenance, right? So the website is not a thing that you create when you have a CD to release and then you leave it and you never visit it again. This is something that's dynamic. It's the place that people can find you. It should be listed in all of your about sections for Instagram and Twitter and Facebook. Make sure there are only 2 fonts and 2 colors. I see a lot of people using a lot of colors and a lot of fonts, and you can use a lot of colors if you're doing it well and it's really intentional. 2 colors, 2 colors, 2 fonts, 2 colors. That's generally when you go to a website and you're like, oh, that looks great. That's generally what you're seeing. So then you want to check your social media headers for brand consistency. So you go to each of your social media sites and say, okay, is this header, is it looking great? I love canva.com, canva.com. I'm really good at Photoshop. I never use Photoshop anymore. I go to Canva, it's free, and they have preset sizes. So if you want to make a Facebook header, you just select Facebook header and has all these cool templates and great looking fonts and everything. And you can create something in like 5 minutes that looks super pro, and you can put in your custom colors and everything so it is in line with your website. It's a really, really great tool. And I've been using it for over a year, and I tell everyone about it because it's awesome. But that's a really quick, easy way to make some good looking headers that are the right size. So when you upload them to Facebook or Twitter, you don't have to move them around or resize them or reposition them because they're already sized and optimized for those platforms, which is super cool. And the last thing you want to check is, does your homepage tell your visitors your number one goal? I have a great podcast interview with Jamie Kent, who is the only indie artist in the top 20 on the Billboard country charts. He's a good friend of mine, and he did this interview for Key Conversations, which is a podcast that's free on iTunes. You guys should listen to it. And the interview was so great because he decided that he wanted his next record that was coming out in 5 months, that he wanted to hit the Billboard top charts. And the way to do that is, what he learned was that every pre-sale of the record counts towards the first day that it is released. It counts towards however many you sell. And he got a couple thousand, and that's all it took to get on the Billboard top 20. But everywhere he went, every show he did, he's like, you want to play a game with me? You want to get an indie artist on the Billboard top 20? Like, people were like, yes, I want to do that. His website reflected that. There was text in his social media headers. He was all over the place, being really, really deliberate and clear on what his goal was for this record. It's pretty cool. So those are some actions to take today. And that's what I have to say about branding. I can geek out on branding for days and days and days, but I will not, because there are 4 other keys we want to get to. If you have questions, definitely, I think there's a place to type in specific questions, or you can put in the chat box. When I'm done with these 5 keys, I'm definitely going to get to them. So yeah, feel free to type in questions there. I'm going to just keep cranking here. All right, so the next key, another one of my favorite ones that I can geek out on forever, because I did some serious experimenting with this, is pitching. I was a biology major in college, bio and music double major. So I have this like research bug that I decided to try out when I started to get clear on how I was pitching wasn't working. So I did a lot of research in how to pitch more effectively. So when I was asking anybody of anything, I would not only get a response, because that was my big thing. It's not that people were telling me no, it was that I wasn't hearing any responses. So before I go on to the slide, type in a 2 in the chat room. Are you a person that like crickets, like you're like the cricket whisperer because you will write people things and like they don't write back? Or are you type in a 3 if you are the no? Like every time you ask someone something, they say no. Whether you're pitching a venue, when you are, trying to get a gig, when you are trying to get your music on a TV show. So are you a cricket person or are you a no person? If you are a yes person, you can type a 4. If you're like, every time I send an email, I get a yes, because that is awesome. But I was totally the cricket person, right? So I did some research and I was about to do a tour. So I had a list of 100 venues that I wanted to book, including radio shows and some promotion stuff for the tour. But it was a 2-week tour. And I knew that everyone I reached out to, like maybe 1 in 100 would get back to me. So I had this really big list and I did all this research and I was like, all right, I'm putting a strategy together and I'm going to write this email in a very specific way. And when I did, I went from getting no responses to 70% of those people wrote me back and 50% of them booked. So I ended up having like 2 to 3 gigs a day, like a radio show in the morning and then a house concert or a cafe gig. So it was really, really cool. And since then, I have gotten it so that 100% of the emails I send, I get a response. 100%. Okay, so this is the thing about pitching. It's not about getting what you want. Oops, I'm clicking in the wrong window. Where did my thing go? It's not about getting what you want. It's about creating an opportunity for someone else so that you are irresistible to them. If you are solving a problem for them, they're going to be like, oh my God, yes, whatever it is, yes. And of course, they're going to write back. So this is the key to the pitching, right? So I have this thing called Prime Your Pitch, and it's a free checklist. And again, because you're here live, I'm going to send this to you. You get an email with a place to download it automatically. But I'm just going to run through it really quickly. So the first pitch, obviously this is going to spell out pitch here, but it's preparation. And this is one thing that a lot of people don't do is they don't prepare well. So we get a lead or someone that we know we need to talk to, and we're like, oh my God, we got to write to them right now. But really, if you're preparing and you're going to have done research, you're going to know what they need. You're going to have made sure that you've got the right contact info. You're going to have done your homework. If they're a music supervisor, you're going to have watched the show. You're going to look them up on IMDb, see what other shows that they've worked on. You're going to make sure that your music is in line. If it's a venue, you're going to know what dates they have available. You're going to know exactly what kind of bands that this particular promoter or venue booker likes to book. You're going to know. So you need to do some preparation. The next thing is your intention. This is before you even write this email, right? Or before you make a phone call. You're going to want to know exactly what you want. So intention, here it says, this is worded better. Intention is knowing what you want before the conversation even happens. If you have clarity, so will they. So for some people, like if you're going to apply for a job, you're not going to write the boss of the job and say, hi, I want a job. Will you hire me? It might be, hi, I'd love to interview, or can we go out for coffee and discuss? Like there's something a little more immediate usually. And often when we're writing emails, we kind of jump to the big picture, like the end game. And that's not usually the person on the other end of that email is like, well, what am I supposed to do with this? Like, what's the next action for me to take? So we want to be clear on what that is for us so that we can be clear with them. Third thing, we want to turn the table. So what is their problem that you can solve? And this is so hard for musicians because we're always thinking, oh, I know what I need. I need your help. I need you to help me solve this problem. I need you to place me or, book me or something. But how are you an opportunity for them? If you can figure out what that is, you are going to be, like I said, irresistible. So if it's a booker who's like, you can tell, okay, he doesn't have a lot of Tuesday nights booked. Maybe I can do the Tuesday night. What's he looking for? Or what is she looking for? She's always looking for bands that will show up on time and be responsible and get people drinking and are fun and whatever it is, right? If you can solve that problem, then you're golden. 4 is call them to action. I can't tell you how many emails I get with people that somehow found me because my company is listed who knows where, saying, hey, here's my video and a link to my music, check it out. Like, what? That's a command. Like commands don't land well for people. So you want to ask a yes or no question so that they're clear on what's next. So if they said, would you check out my music so that we could talk about X, Y, and Z? I'd be much more likely to do that if X, Y, and Z was even interesting and they were solving a problem for me. So you want to make sure you have a yes or no question. And then in the signature, do you notice that none of this email, there's no you listing your bio and name dropping and like writing paragraphs and paragraphs of why you're so awesome. Like no one wants to read that crap. No one does. But if they do, which is a big if, put any links they may need in your signature. So if you're talking about a track, you can say, here's a link to the track that I'm talking about. If you want more information on me, my link is in my bio. And in the bio, in the signature, you don't want to have 4,000 different social media things they can click on. You just want the one that's going to be most important for them to do the thing that you want, right? Going back to the intention. So keep out anything from this email that is not in line with that intention happening. Does that make sense? Okay, cool. You'll get this prime your pitch. And then there's a checklist that comes with it that's kind of awesome. All right, so results. So here's how I really started to get this to work. When I was fan funding my last record, I asked people to collaborate and I contribute to the thing. And I used the perfect pitch every time that I was talking to people. I call this the perfect pitch. I actually have an 8-step process that gets into it really, really specifically. And I've got some templates and everything, so I can tell you about that at the end. Remind me if you're interested in getting that perfect pitch. It's a video course. It's super quick, but I use these strategies, the exact process, this 8 steps of first you write this sentence, then this sentence, and then this sentence has to accomplish this. And there's 8 steps. And I used it every single time, and I was able to fan fund my record. And it's funny because it says $12,558. It was actually $22,558 because I got 2 different checks that added up to $10,000 exactly that did not get into this this thing here. So that's one result. The other result that I love telling the story is that I was watching the season finale of The Office and a song of mine came on a commercial and I was like, oh my God, that's so exciting. And then I was like, wait a second, I didn't sign anything. So it turns out, long story short, is that this company kind of let my song fall through the cracks. And I think a friend of mine who was an editor put it on the temp cut, the cut of the commercial, and then it ended up going to air and no one did anything. They were like, oh, we're so sorry about that. We're going to send you a $500 check. And I ended up outlining this perfect pitch, the 8 steps, and asked for $15,000 because I did a lot of research and I figured out that that was the going rate on the low end for a commercial placement. And I got a check for $15,000. So this works, people. Yes. So, oh yay, crowdfunding we can totally talk for days on crowdfunding because there's a really great way to do it. There's so many platforms out there and they're offering all sorts of support. But it comes down to how you word these things. So, all right. So what you can do today, follow this pitching things. Like just make sure you have those things, the intention and the opportunity and the problem you're solving, and you have a nice clean signature. Like start doing that. Like even that's just going to make a big shift. Here's my little pitch. Take the perfect pitch course because it's awesome. And you get a bunch of downloadable email templates that you can copy and paste and just plug in the info and use for yourself. And these are email templates that come from my outbox. Like I've used them. I just took out the specifics. So I will put the link in for that because it's awesome. And then start writing emails and getting a yes using this perfect pitch stuff. Like every time you want something from someone, you can use this. Now, if you're just like, it's funny because I have people in my courses that write me emails like, hey, can we reschedule the call? And they like go through and like do the whole perfect pitch with me. They're like, you must be really busy and blah, blah. And I'm like, you don't need to use the perfect pitch on me when you're asking to reschedule a call. Like you're not pitching anything, right? Like it's not, I mean, there's not some big impact. So it's just, it's very cute when I have people like really into the perfect pitch, but you can use it for any area of your life. Like if you want to, get a family reunion together, anywhere where you're making some big, unreasonable, kind of scary request, like a marriage proposal, you could use it. Dun, dun, dun. All right. So the next thing that I want to talk about, why am I highlighting this? This is dumb. Okay. We've got the actions that we can take. The next key, fan engagement. Fan engagement is so, so, so important. How's it looking on here? I'm just checking here. You guys are awesome. Okay, cool. Fan engagement is, the gist of fan engagement is that it's interaction, it's relationship building, and it's a two-way street, right? And this all makes sense. We hear this all the time. But what it is not, and this is where musicians get stuck, is it's not being a billboard. So it's not like, hey, check this out. Check this out is what billboards do. And people are scrolling through the way they're driving by billboards. They're not interested. Not interested. And there's no way to know how effective they're really being. And engagement is also not always asking for stuff. Like, yes, we are often asking for stuff, but it's not always asking for stuff. And if you start using the perfect pitch on your social media, dun, 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 you're also going to be not asking for stuff anymore. You're going to be creating opportunities. So see how they're tying in these keys? So awesome. So here's some tips. Just show interest, right? So I love asking questions or running a poll. There is a poll on this webinar, which is kind of fun. It's always interesting to know what other people are thinking, and then it might change your opinion or your thoughts on something and start some discussions, right? You always want to respond to positive comments, right? So if you have a YouTube video and someone comments on it, you want to respond. I never respond to the negative people unless I have a really good response or I'm using it as a demonstration for something, which I've done recently. I have a blog post about an email I got that was not nice. And I decided to respond, and then I ended up getting a very nice apology email back. The other thing you want to do is cross-promote other people and tag them. So you can become the source of awesome content just because you are doing some cross-promotion. Like, hey, my friend came out with this video. It's really awesome. Do you want to watch it and talk about it? Like, let me know what you think. And, asking questions in that way versus like, check out this video. You can play games with your fan. Like, I just released a new video today. I'm playing a game of getting 500 views by the end of the day. Will you play? Yes or no question, right? The brain automatically answers and therefore is more likely to act when they hear a yes or no question. It's cool, right? So here's some results when we focused really hard on fan engagement in my last MX4 course. This girl, Caitlin, had never, ever toured before and was planning her first tour. And it says here, this is January. She was planning this tour in the end of November. So within less than 2 months, she had all of these shows booked. And because of the way she was engaging with her fans around these shows, she got free housing with different fans at every single stop for her and her band. And I just thought that was extraordinary. She used the perfect pitch. She was engaging in a way that people were like, yeah, this sounds awesome. And she didn't have a huge fan list. She was just like, where do I know a couple people? How can they help me? And she was super engaging with them. And those are the kind of results you can get, where you can not only book a tour and have people show up, you can also stay with people and make other crazy requests, as long as you're engaged with your fans and they understand you and get you. So there's that. So there's a wrong way. Like I said, hey, watch my new video, or help me. Ugh, don't ever use those words again. If you got rid of help me from your musician vocabulary, I promise you would feel way more empowered. The right way is more like I said, would you play a game? Or what's the biggest mystery to you around making a record? Because if someone's like, oh, I never know how far do you stand from a microphone? How do you, I don't even know, because making a record is not a mystery to me. But if you ask your fans or your followers on Facebook, what's the biggest mystery? Boom, now you know what your next video, behind the scenes video should be. And you are now getting some great ideas on how to create content, right? So here's some things to do today. Post about someone else, like super easy. I will give you some free tips. I have a blog called Living on Gigging. Go through, find some cool articles. If you have some musician friends, you can post from there. See what I just did? I just gave myself some free promotion and you some free content that you don't have to create. So fun. Also, stop being a billboard. So if you ever want to use the words check this out again, make sure that you're using them in a very empowering way. I say check out this or that, but it's done in a way that's not being a billboard. So just keep a watch on that, okay? And then ask your followers a question or to play a game. So you can do all three of those things today, and you will start seeing slightly different results. And I bet if you played around with it, like tomorrow, you'd have different kinds of responses and comments and likes and things like that. The engagement that really matters. All right, generating and managing income. You guys are super awesome. We're getting to the good stuff here. Money mindset. The biggest difference between people who are comfortable with money and those who are not is the willingness and ability to manage their money. So money has to be a habit. That's what this comes down to. So I'm going to read this again because it's so good. The biggest difference between people who are comfortable with money and those who are not, so AKA people who have it and people who want more of it, right, is the willingness and ability to manage it. It has to be a habit. So here's some things to do. This is not the action list yet, but you need to know how much money you have and how much you spend to know how much you need to generate. So if you're one of those people, so let's see who's here. Who are the people? You can type a 1 in the comments if you are someone that looks at money maybe once a month and you're like, don't make me look at it. Like you're not really related to how much you have. You avoid it at all costs. You don't look at your bank accounts. It's just kind of terrifying. Who are the ones? Put a 1 in the comments here. Then we have the people that are the, kind of the savers and the hoarders. Like when you see a quarter, you get it. You rarely spend money. You definitely don't invest in yourself because you're afraid of where it's going to come from next. So there's like the scarcity people. Those are twos. Go ahead and put a two. You can be a combination of these, by the way. There's a bunch of different money personalities, but those are the big ones I come across with musicians. And I have also been a one or a two for a very long time. So just knowing how much you have, that's starting the habit to take a look at your bank accounts every once in a while, like once every few weeks. If you have no idea how much money you need to make per month, you want to go back to the past 6 months of receipts and look at all of your bills, everything that you need in order to have a very good idea of that number. What's the average monthly income that you spend? How much money do you actually need versus what you want? So those are two different numbers, right? So when I talk about your necessities, I'm talking about like rent or your mortgage or health insurance, food, not going out, dining out food, but like normal food, gas, electric bills, the things that you need to be a responsible human being in society. So if you know that all of those costs added up, car payments, blah, 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 are, let's just say $2,000 a month, and you want to be saving some, I have this whole money structure thing that I do in my MX4 course, but you want to generally be saving about 50%. So that means you now have a very clear goal. If you know you need to spend $2,000 and you want to be spending about $2,000, you have a goal to make $4,000 a month. So if you do not know what any of those numbers are, I would suggest you do that today. Okay, so next, I came back to here. You want to make sure that you are set up to be paid, right? So your performing rights organization, you are, everyone, I'm assuming, and if you're not, go sign up, are a member of BMI or ASCAP or CSAC. If you're in America, if you're in any other country, there's only one performing rights organization. So make sure you're signed up for that. I get asked all the time. I am ASCAP. I've had a great experience with them. I did Eeny, Meeny, Miny, Mo about 15 years ago, and I ended up on ASCAP. So that is why I'm ASCAP. Sound Exchange, they're changing their model, but they are the ones that pay you if you are the performer. So you want to make sure that the artist gets paid as well as the writer and the publisher. The performing rights organization, the PRO, are paying the writers and whoever owns the publishing of that song. Sound Exchange is paying the person who actually recorded it. YouTube monetization, you want to opt in. So anytime you release a CD, if you're releasing it through TuneCore or CD Baby, you have an option to check a box and say, yes, I want to opt in to YouTube monetization, which basically means that if someone were to make a cat video and use your song and they have an ad playing at the beginning of it, you get some of the income from the ad if that cat video goes viral, or even if it doesn't. You also want to have pricing minimums if you're a composer or composer or producer or engineer, someone who provides a service, a musical service. You want to know what your price is. Price minimums are. Grammar, hello. You want to charge what you're worth, but you also want to be flexible. So if you can say, hey, here are my starting prices, but I'm willing to work something out with you, just know what your bottom line is. Also, where can you ask for a raise? If you have a part-time job or a day job, every 6 months you should be going in and asking for a raise. And every 6 months you should also be calling your credit card company to raise your limit. And because that just looks good on your credit, and to lower your interest rate. The chances of them doing that are very high. It's something that I've in my schedule every 6 months to do regularly. So also, where can you generate new income right now? So in the chat box, what are some things that you can do as a Hail Mary to make some money this week in music? And I always like this, but as this goes on, if you come up with something, go ahead and type it in the chat box. So here's some ideas. First one, teach some lessons. Like, what are you good at musically? Like, go ahead and teach it. Create packages. I'm a big fan, if you're a teacher already, creating packages of 5 or 10, and then they pay up front. And if they cancel, you have a very strict 24-hour cancellation policy. So upping your prices is something you can do this week. You can sell some gear. Like, what are you not using that you haven't used in at least a year? You can sell that. Another thing is booking house concerts. I am a huge fan of just posting on Facebook saying, hey, it's summertime. This is perfect time, right? I would love to bring some live music to your next party. Let's talk about making that work. house concerts are where I found most of my super fans and made a lot of money, not because the house concert host paid me, but because I was able to sell my CDs for $20 because people there are really wanting to take me home and remember that experience of getting to sit in a living room with an artist, right? It's a very cool thing. And a lot of people I know that are doing the house concert thing are making a very good living doing that. And it's easy to book because you're talking to friends and then friends of friends, and you're getting to get your music out and expand your network really easily. And you can do that this week. That is something that you can do this week. So if you have other ideas of things that you can do to generate money this week, type it in and share with each other, because it's always a good time to do brainstorm. This is actually Scott. He was in my MX4 course and he took on this house concert thing and he booked 4 in 1 week and generated $1,500. And he set it up in different ways with different people, which was really, really cool and really inspiring. And he's a violin singer-songwriter. It's a really kind of cool, intimate show. So if you've got some neat angle, then you definitely want to bring that in. And again, using the perfect pitch to talk to people, you can really do that. So today, here's my ideas. Sell gear, take stock of what you have and what you need to create real money goals. So take an hour and sit down. You can do this today and start to see what it is that you need to generate. And you can ask for a raise or increase your prices if you're not in a day job. Those are things you can do today. All right, the last key, and then we're going to get into some bonus stuff, and we're going to look at some of your websites, structures for success. So we do not use everyday tools and concepts. We don't utilize them, like your calendar. This sounds so simple, and this is the stuff that usually is the game-changing stuff here. Calendar, accountability, community, and development. So your calendar is a tool for your success. It's not just a place to put your dentist appointments. So this is what my week looks like. It is very colorful. There are different things going on here. We're going to talk about all of them in a second. And you notice that not every minute is scheduled, but there are these light pink blobs. That's actually my to-do list. So let's talk about this. So here's some takeaways. There are no to-do lists in my life. Anytime I think of something that I need to do, it goes into existence in my calendar. I don't have a list. I don't have, a napkin or a Post-it or notes or anything like that. Anytime I think of something that I need to do, I schedule it, because if it's that important, then I will make time for it in my calendar. I'm going to have to make time for it anyway. So why is it not going directly into my calendar? If you go back and look at let's go back. There's a purple thing in there. It's actually a call with my accountability partner. Accountability, having someone each week saying, hey, what did you say you wanted to do? Did you do it? That's such a huge tool, and I would encourage all of you to have an accountability partner, someone who is up to something the same way you are up to something. It doesn't need to be a musician. My accountability partner is actually a film director. So we're both creating these freelance careers and are holding each other accountable for what we say we want to create. When you work with me in any of my courses or one-on-one, like that is my biggest job, is to provide new ideas and to hold you accountable for what you say you want. Because that's really hard for us to do. We say we want it, and then we're like, oh, maybe it's not what we want, or I've got other priorities, or I should focus on what they want. No. The other thing that you'll see in here, the pink things, are courses I'm taking. I am always investing in myself. I have invested in that particular week. There was a career leadership program and there was a technology development program that I was in. So I'm trying to always get better as a mixer. I'm always trying to get better as a leader in how I talk to musicians. So I'm not just sharing my own experiences and what works and what doesn't. I'm actually sharing career leadership training things. So I'm listening for what's blocking you. Can you guys hear the thunder? It's like going bananas. I'm like, oh, I'm going to lose power. And you also see that I have multiple projects. But the thing about the multiple projects, because they live in my calendar, I'm focused. When I'm working on one project, I'm working at that project. And I know I don't need to think about the other one and when I'm going to do it and if I'm going to get to it, because it's in the calendar. I know that it's there. The other thing is that each of these 5 keys lives in my calendar. There's always, every week, I take a half an hour to schedule some very engaging posts, just in case I get stuck on a plane or get kidnapped by aliens. Like, I know that I'm going to have engaging posts 1 a day on my social media platforms. So I take a half an hour on Sundays to schedule that. I also take a half an hour to go through all my websites and make sure that everything is still consistent, because things are constantly changing. And, I've got something around each key. So there's something for money, something for branding, something for pitching, blah, 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 every week. Because this stuff is habit. It becomes habit. And then you start to just get in the flow of constantly motivating yourself. So here's some actions to take around creating some structures for success. So get your calendar current and schedule your to-dos. And it doesn't matter if you use iCal or Google Calendar or even a paper calendar. As long as you have a relationship with your calendar, you can get this working for you. You can create an accountability partner or team. That is something you can do today. Make a couple phone calls, find that person, schedule a weekly call. And then schedule 3 to 5 tasks this week that will move your career forward. So this starts with, what do you want? What do you want? This goes back to what you wrote down with that magic wand. What do you want to have happen? And what are 3 to 5 tasks or actions you can take this week that are going to help you directly get there? The last thing you can do is schedule when you're going to work on each of those other keys. And you're just going to start getting all this stuff handled, which is very, very exciting, right? All right, so the next thing that we're going to do quickly, if there are any questions, go ahead and post them in the chat box because I would love to hear them. I think, let's see, I'm looking at the right thing. And while you guys are doing that, I'm going to just quickly share, and some of you have heard this already, but that's fine because it never hurts to hear things twice, right? I want you to think about which key is the thing for you. Like when we talk about branding, are you like, oh, that's my Achilles heel? Or if I could get better with pitching, this would make a huge difference. Or if I could really get a handle on my money, this would make a huge difference. So what's the key that's going to help you close the gap between where you are now and where you want to be? So you know what the keys are and you know why they're important. And you also know where you are now and where you want to be. And you know what's missing because you're thinking about this. So here's the good news. We can close the gap together and get you there sooner than you think, because all it is mastering these 5 keys and start incorporating them with each other and start working with them together. Like we were talking about using the perfect pitch to increase your income, to do this and do this. So there's a whole overlap of this and you can really master it. You can master it quickly. This isn't a one day, someday conversation, like maybe in a year, or when this happens, then this will happen, or I'll get this as soon as I do this. Like that's not empowering for you. So this was, I know that because I was in this conversation too. And after I've done all of this work and all of this leadership training and everything, I've created this course you might have heard of. It's called MX4. And it is a 6-week module course that tackles all of this stuff. It's called the Marketing and Branding Money Making Motivation Masterclass. So I'm going to tell you quickly about it. And then we're going to get to reviewing your websites if you guys want to stick around. And if you actually make it to the end of this, which I know you can do because you're in it for the long game here. I've got some other free stuff for you. So that's exciting. But let me quickly tell you about this and you can decide if this is something you're like, okay, this is interesting. So it's a 6-week course, but you can do it on your own time. And the mission is to ensure that musicians achieve unprecedented results in their careers in 6 weeks and create lasting habits that allow for ongoing success. I've been running this course for 2 years, and all of the people that have done it, not a single person has asked for their money back. And it's gotten, I think, like 4.6 out of 5 stars. It's really, really, really effective. And this is a promise that, like, over my dead body will you get in this course and leave not having transformed how you work at your career, period. That's the kind of stuff I create. So the format is there's 6 modules. There's 1 per week. There are 2 to 4 10-minute videos each module. There's also a bunch of worksheets, homework, bonus live coaching videos included. Occasionally you get an interview with a music business expert. So you can get on the phone with a music industry expert and interview them for the podcast, where there's also some promotion of you, which is great. You get lifetime access to all of this stuff and any updates I do. And there's also an option for live coaching with me. Oh, boop, 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 boop. So I like to call this a pathway to freedom, because when we're not free, when we're waiting for someone else to find us, like that's not freedom, right? So the people who have taken this course say that the top benefits they received are, and I did this whole little like survey study thing, increased income in a short amount of time. Hello. A new community of motivated musicians and a place to network. You get into a Facebook group and it's like super awesome other people that are in the same place as you. Confidence in their brand, how to talk about their music and how to pitch it. Like they're right alone. I'm like, okay, sign me up. An easy to implement social media strategy and other results. A plan for their whole career and clear actions to take. Like your whole career, really? Yes. Insights and tips on the current music industry. So it's not just about me and my experiences. This is like a big, let's like get our heads wrapped around what it takes to conquer the industry where it is right now. Week 1 is goals. I'm not going to spend too much time on these, but I'll just tell you what each week is. The first one is all about your goals. You create your goals, what you want, you get a plan for achieving them, and we schedule the work. We do a lot of scheduling. We create an organizational system to keep the results coming. So the benefits here obviously are a plan and a strategy, right? Like finally, like clear actions to take, real goals that are achievable, and fantastic new relationship with your calendar. It's a really good relationship to have, I'm telling you. Way better than Tinder. Week 2 is all about branding. So we figure out your default way of acting, and then we replace that with something that empowers you. So we actually create a mission statement that's very true to the core of who you are. It's very powerful work. If anyone is on this webinar that's done this work, I know that you can attest to that. Define your colors. We find an exact hex code, like a 6-digit code that is your exact color, your font, and we organize your website. We dig in here. And again, the benefits here is you get a defined purpose. You can clearly communicate what you want. You can create awesome graphics. You organize your web page. Week 3 is pitching. So we really master the art of the perfect pitch, which I actually talked a lot more today than I wanted to about. We build some teams. We make requests every day, and we start getting yeses when in the past we wouldn't have even asked. So that's kind of fun. Week 4 is fan engagement. So you're going to be defining your ideal fan, what I call the avatar. You're going to really know how to target that person so that all the efforts that you're doing are not in vain. You're going to pick up a bunch of tips and tricks for social media management. You're going to find your super fans. And if it's right for you to launch a pledge or Patreon or Kickstarter campaign, we're going to dig into that. Again, it's about your goals, so it's all up to you. Week 5 is all about the finances. We're going to really shift the money mindset once and for all, and we're going to create a money management system, which is super fun. And we're going to brainstorm dozens of ways to generate new income, not just the 4 or 5 we came up with today. And we're going to make sure you're set up to be paid. So this is the week we make money. Period. End of story. Cool. Sign me up. Week 6, structures. So we're going to create some teams. We're going to do some scheduling. We're going to overcome overwhelm and anxiety. And we're going to get some peace of mind around creating results and accountability and put this structure in place so you are set up for the future. So if you are stuck or you've tried everything or you're waiting or you're bored or you're not getting results or you're unfocused or you're hopeless or your music isn't making you money, any one of those is a good reason to be an MX4. So I'm just going to say that right now. Here are some other really cute musicians that have taken MX4. There's so many of them. My favorite quote is, "This is the CrossFit of music marketing money-making programs." I think the reason he says that is because it's not information overload. It is about you and what you want. And then here are some paths and some tools to go get that. And it's very deliberate. It's not here's all the things you need to know about the music industry. And there are a bunch of courses out there around licensing. They're all, I think I actually said, yeah, there's a licensing course. It's like $1,000. There's a bunch of self-improvement mastermind groups that run up around 10,000. There's a ton of online marketing courses for musicians that are also around $1,000. There's some entrepreneur stuff too. I found one for around 2,000. And this course is cool because it's the only program that is for musicians and designed by a musician. Moi. It's something I created because I wish I had it. So that's why it's here. You get lifetime access. Like I said, there are bonus coaching calls, a private Facebook group, money back guarantee, which no one has taken me up on, and it's not information overload. So really, like I said, it's designed to cater to you specifically and help you create an inspiring strategy to get results that you want. So here's the investment, right? Here's all the stuff that it's worth. There's an online community. I know that some people pay up to $5,000 to be part of an accountability partner program. Access to guest interviews. That's probably over $500, right? That's what you'd spend on going to a conference. Lifetime access to all the videos. So you could do the course like 20 times if you want. I just threw out a number there. Private backend website with downloads, audio, extra resources. I added all of them up. They add up to about $1,150, and money back guaranteed. That's priceless, you guys. So bottom line, it's valued at $9,650, which is a shit ton of money. Pardon my French. But now it's $497. So here's why, because I just switched over the platform so that it's $497. Normally the course is $3,000, and I'll give discounts if I met you this way or that way. So it ends up being $2,000. And occasionally I do early bird, so it's $13.99 or whatever. But I have decided that I'm using a new platform. I've got all the material recorded, and it is like I'm giving it live, and I'm always doing office hours, and you are going to get all of this material for $4.97. And I think that I'm going to change this really soon. Like I've been told that this is way too low of a price for the value. So it gets you all the curriculum, worksheets, bonus coaches, videos and calls, lets you do the program at your own pace. And it's totally worth it. You can also pay. I think there's a payment program. You can register by going to inthekeyofsuccess.com/MX4. And I think I'm actually going to, you can register. There's a little thing that just showed up in the chat box, I think, and just click there and just do it. It's one of those things where like, once you're in my MX4 world, like I just got an email from someone who did it like a year and a half ago. And he's like, hey, I'm having some transition problems. Can we hop on a phone call? And I'm like, yes, like you're in my tribe. Like once you're in, and like over my dead body, will you be unsupported in your music career for the rest of your life? Like that's how I work. I hope that makes sense. What's included? Do we need to do this? All right. 6 modules that cover the goal setting, your brand, social media, pitching, income generation, structures for success. And there are all these videos, bonus coaching calls, worksheets, checklists, private Facebook group, office hours, and a course community. Oh, there's some bonuses. So here's where we get back into the bonuses. I like this not a procrastinator discount. That is what you get for signing up now and not waiting till I raise the price, which will honestly probably double so that I can be competitive with those other courses that are all around $1,000. Here's some other deals. For those of you that are live now, you get my Jumpstart Strategy e-course. This is the first course I created. I keep updating it. I get rave reviews about this. I've sold hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of copies. It's normally $67 and you get this for free. And if you sign up today before midnight, you'll get a bonus welcome call. So we're going to hop on a video call where we chat. Normally to get time with me, it's $270 an hour because I don't really do a lot of that anymore because I've got my own music career to work on. So those are some really awesome bonuses if you sign up today. There's the e-course. It uses these pillars and we talk about branding. We get into fan funding a little bit and getting fans to shows and licensing. We use those as some examples in the music industry. So we do a little work in that. And then here's the private video call with me. We're going to get to know each other. We're going to look at where you are now, that magic wand question, talk about music. We'll have a glass of wine. It's going to be amazing. Again, and I don't think there's 25 people here, but it's for 25 people because that's how many my video chatting thing allows. Okay, so my promise is that there's 100% money back guarantee, and the course was designed to fit in your life, not add work. So that's huge. So it's not that you're going to become so busy with this course and your music career. It's that you're going to be doing the course and being more effective in your music career. So the promise is that you'll become unrecognizable to yourself in how you work at your career in 6 weeks. Cool. So then you're part of this family. You'll be added to a Facebook group and all these great stuff. What it costs to not register. Well, I'll tell you, I spent over $100,000 on recording, touring, workshops, conferences, mentors, like all of the stuff. And if I had this course, I'm 1000% sure I would have spent only a fraction of it. No more struggling, no more like wishing you had more time. I'm talking about 6 weeks here, people. So if you were thinking about getting a new keyboard for $2,000 or hiring a PR firm for $4,000, like there'll be investments, but this course is designed to work in your life. So there's immediate payoff. Like this is what I wish I had 10 years ago. So that is why I created this. So there's no BS here. Some frequently asked questions, and you're welcome to type in any questions you have and I'll answer them in a minute. Oh, we're almost done. I'm 2 minutes over. And then we'll get into your websites, which I'm really psyched for. Can you get money back if the course isn't for you? Yes. How much time should you put aside each week? Between 1 and 5 hours, but it depends on what you're working on because this course is catered to you specifically. You released a bunch of records and you're toured. Is this for you? Absolutely. If I haven't released a record yet, is that okay? Absolutely. I'm not a performer. Is that okay? Yes. This is I've had composers, arrangers, producers, artists, songwriters, singers, engineers do this course, and everyone love it. So the next step is to just sign up, and there should be a button down there, and you'll get a friendly reminder from me about how we could create magic together. So, that will come to your inbox. All right. So that is everything. I am really excited to hear your They're okay. I don't know. But put in your website into the chat. Brian, great question. Pitching course is part of MX4. It is. We do a lot on pitching, and not just pitching, but we actually we push the comfort zone to go out of our comfort zone and figure out who are the big requests who do we need to make big requests of. And so it's not just asking simple questions. We actually start raising the bar, and then we get comfortable here. Then we start asking bigger requests. So yeah, we do a ton of that in the perfect pitch. I've got a couple challenges, we do the perfect pitch in MX4. So make sure it's a link that I can click on. If I can't click on it, I'm not copying pasting it. Absolutely. Deborah, you're awesome. My branding strategy is spot on. Yeah, Deborah did some serious work and it was awesome. All right, let's look at some of these. How do I want to do this? Do I want to share screens? Let's share. I see Kim was first, so I'm going to go to Kim here. While I'm clicking on here, make sure you guys are clicking on the MX4 link. So let's go, Kim. All right, Jeremy Wineglass. Is that how you say that? I love it. It says Kim in the thing. That's okay, right? So here's what I'm going to do. I think I'm going to share my screen so that people can see your website and they don't have to click on it too. All right, so I'm going to share a screen, and then I'm going to screen. I think that's it. There's my backend. So can you guys see that? I think that's it. Okay, so here we go. So I get right away. So my big thing about people's website, is it clear to me what you want me to do? Before I go on here with this awesome looking website, I just want to say to everyone, thank you for being here. I know this is advertised as an hour and it is officially over. I invite you to register for MX4. Let's get it on. I invite you to do it today so you can get the free bonus call with me and some other fun things. So I invite you to do that. And I also really appreciate your time and your listening and your comments and everything that you provided. So if you need to go, I understand. I will not be offended. And I'm going to do as many of these website reviews as I can in the next, 20 minutes or so. So stick around and listen for, even though I'm not on your website, unless I am, listen for what tips you can take and apply to your own website in case I don't get to yours. Okay. So here we go. So Jeremy, you have some foundation colors, which I didn't talk about, but you've got this black and white and you've got this bright red. And it's really, really clear to me that you are a pianist, not just because it says pianist, but it says that in the photo. So this is beautiful, captivating, sophisticated, extraordinary. I would love a period after extraordinary because you have a period after the other two, but that's just me being a perfectionist. I like that there's a player right here. I don't need to go anywhere else to play and listen to your music. That's awesome. So the other thing I like is that it doesn't play automatically. If you have music that plays automatically, don't have music that plays automatically. You don't do that. I like inspirational public speaker. Oh, this changes. Okay. It changed. Now I can contact you. There's a menu down here. I did not get that. So I had to scroll to see the menu. This is beautiful. I'm already captivated. Captivating is the word I get. You're very clear on your brand. I like that this red is, maybe you even pulled the exact code from the curtain here. I'm not sure, but if you did, great. So here's the menu. Okay. Albums, bio, booking, store, shows, news, gallery, press, content. That's a lot. I prefer a 5 here. Contact, you can always leave contact out. Let's see what you have on your contact page. You can always leave contact out because it can be, you have a scrolling page. It can always be at the bottom. All right, so you have a scrolling page. So scrolling pages, actually, I have a different theory about some of this for scrolling pages. So that's okay. That. So tell me, is it true that the thing you want people to do is listen and buy your music? Because that's what I Hi, that's what I get. So type that in the comment and let me know if that's the number one thing. This is a beautiful website. I like it. There's a lot of content. And I'm just wondering if, you know, the latest albums, is that the number one thing you want people to do? Or do you want the number one thing people to do is book you? Because I'm wondering if that's the thing. So it might just be like a little bit of reorganization. Let's see. I wonder what's in the store. I'm wondering if that could, you know, be a sub thing of somewhere else. Yeah, overall, this is gorgeous and it gets the point across. And if that is indeed the point. So yes, listen and buy music is the goal. Okay, perfect. I think that's pretty clear. The main way of making a booking, but that happens pretty readily. Okay, great. Okay, cool. Yeah, I could go into all of these for like hours and hours and hours. So I'm going to just like do a quick basic overview here. So I'm going to go to John because that's the next link here. Keenack, keenack.com or Keeknack. That's not it. Let's see. So I'm going to share my screen. Do I need to share my screen again? You guys can click on these, right? Or no, I should share my screen. That would be like the best way to do this. Stand by. Dun, 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 dun. John Graham, there you are. Okay, great. You are, let's see, by the ocean. There's a studio. Great. There's like a little retro feel to the logo and to the way this picture is processed. So that's cool. Welcome to the official site of welcome. I hate all the welcomes. That's fine. I also am very dramatic. Ignore my dramaticness. Home. You don't need home in the menu ever. Most websites now have, you could click, yes, you can click on your name and go back to the homepage. So there's no reason to have this taking up real estate. So you can just get rid of that because your name goes back to home. Music, photos, about, contact. Okay, so here, to me, the number one thing you want people to do is sign up to your newsletter. So that's cool. Why should they? What do they get? So maybe you want to add a little bit more text, like get a free song, get the newest tips, be the first to know about meh, meh, meh. You know, great. So here's something about bios. I see this. John would love to hear from you. If you're going to be writing emotional words like love, you need to write this in the first person because no bio writer ever would say, John would love to hear from you. So this is clearly written by you. So you should be transparent about that. So you can, what I would do, because you're a producer, pianist, and arranger, I would actually get rid of this welcome to the official sites because of course it's official. And take out the emotional words so that this stays in the third person. You're driving him, his driving ambition. Like there's a little too, like get a little bit more factual if you're going to write in the third person because it just reads weird and it sounds like you're trying to be more official than it is. Like people know, right? Power Band by Bandzoogle. So Bandzoogle is great. I have a link I can put in the chat box for you guys to use Bandzoogle. They like me. And so basically they've given me a 15% off. So if you use this, you get a month free and then you get 15% off for the year. So I'm going to type in this thing. But yeah, I'm a big fan of Bandzoogle. So I'm glad that you're using that. But yeah, this looks great. I think it's really simple. And it sounds like you want to have people signing up for your website and you're building your fan base, right? So that's kind of what they do. So here's that link to Bandzoogle. If anyone doesn't have a website or you don't have access to it or you don't like your platform, my website is a Bandzoogle site. If you go to my site, which is www.cbmusic.com, I'm using Bandzoogle as well. Okay, cool. So let's do, you guys like this screen share. That's good. So who's next? We've got Brian. Let's go. Oh, no, sorry. Sharon. So this biomusemusic.wixsite.com.home. Now we got to get you a real URL here, girly. So hold on, I'm going to change my screen share to go off of John's and go and home Biomuse. Okay. color, but I'm a little partial because my color for my website is very similar. So, oh, also, Kim, I didn't know if I was talking to Jeremy or you, so I got you. Didn't see that. And Sharon, I know you're an MX4. That's awesome. Okay, cool. So let's look at this BioMuse website. Really great color right off the bat. YouTube Live. Come join you twice a week with YouTube Live. So that's kind of big. Join you on your musical journey. I still don't know what that means. Click like. What does it mean on YouTube Live? Are you going to be performing? Are you going to be, what you going to be doing? I don't get it. So basically, I don't know what you do. And then, so if I'm sitting here and I'm like, this is gorgeous, but I don't know what you do, I'm going to probably get distracted and go to Facebook or Twitter. I don't like social media at the top because it takes you away from the website. You want people to be engaging with you and your brand. When you go to Facebook and Twitter, you're now promoting their brand, and they do not need your help promoting their brand. So I would put these at the bottom. I would go, Wix is not working really well these days with musician things like SoundCloud play, like links and buy music. They keep updating, and they're not updating the things that matter for musicians, which is one of the things Bandzoogle is great at, incorporating with all the music important sites. So this free stuff is, again, you're helping Wix with their branding and taking away from yours. So I want you to go get a Bandzoogle website. Try it out for free. You get a month free, and then you can create this super easily. It's because you don't have a lot of content. Oh, there's a bio. I scrolled too fast. You're an independent musician. BioMuse. I don't know anything about that name, though. Biologist by day and singing 24/7. Currently, BioMuse has a YouTube live show. Okay, so you're she. Interesting. Has previously, there's no photos or anything. Come join BioMuse. So I would tighten this up too, because you changed your invitation, your factual, your informal, because that's not really a sentence. So there's some stuff to clean up here, but the basics here is that you are, you've got a really good look. And I see the branding here. You've got a good, there's like a vintage, I'm guessing maybe your guitar, there's something going on here, but you've got a good base here, and just translate this to a website that's going to make a difference for you and not have the user like me have to do so much work to figure out what that is. I hope that makes sense. Okay, cool. So let's see, I think I've got time for one or two more. It depends on how quick I am. I hope that helped. I'm going to do Brian and David. Dan, I'm going to try really hard. I'm going to try really, really hard. Okay, let's go fast. Brian, and let me switch over again. I'm going to be done by 2:30. Sound and music for all types of media. Brian Holtz Music. About? Do you want us to know about you? That's the first thing. Audio, music, and sound. That's a little redundant. I don't think you need the words music and sound. I think you can be music and sound or audio. Visually, I'm like, about that. Contact's in the middle. That's weird. Usually contact's over here, or it's is this a scrolling site? Let's see what's happening here. No, you can have contact in the bottom of each page. So if we go to audio, music, sound, I like that this is clean. I'm a big fan of white just as a user. Like, I like clean backgrounds because it also gives some room for you to change up your colors and all that jazz. Links to what? Links to, this is all your links. You don't need these. Where do you want people to go, really? Like, what's going to make the biggest difference for you? You can use like, hey, create a Spotify playlist with my music, or I do that for Pandora. But you can have icons for this. I don't think you need this page. I don't think it's going to help much. Shop currently works currently available now under various monikers. Okay, this is awkward grammar. So great. So I don't know what happens when I click on it. People are scared to click on things because they don't want to open funny things. Also, here's your contact. It could go in the footer. So just that would make the most sense. So if I click here, Nothing happens when I click Man on a Gun, the picture, but I can picture on Underground Villains. Oh, but I can click Man on a Gun here. Okay. So what happens? Okay, so we're taking this CD Baby store. So you want to let people know what to expect. You can also embed these in HTML so that you're not taking people off your website. Because now I have to, if I click through here, I'm going to have like 1 million clicks to go back, right? So you want to reduce the number of clicks. If you want people to buy your music, then this should be a playlist embedded from Bandcamp or CD Baby. Mine is from Bandcamp. If you go to cbemusic.com, singer-songwriter, in the menu, and people can listen and buy right there. So here they're going to listen, be like, okay, good, that's cool, but there's nothing you can do here, unless you have a buy thing with SoundCloud, which I don't know. Then view track, then you're taking to SoundCloud again. So we want to keep it a little tighter, keeping it on your own site. I hope that makes sense. Does that make sense? Okay, cool. Users. All right, I'm going to see if can I see if people are still on? Yeah, okay, you guys are still on. Great. All right, so David, I'm going to do yours. Club Dave Music. Exciting. All right. Let me hop over to that page so that I'm actually moving on it. So there's like a lot of stuff going on. I get that orange is your color. I see that in some of these photos. I think that's a really good pick. I see it in the guitar there, see it in the wall there. So it's very cool. There's like a warm guitar acoustic feeling here. Pictures are going a little fast for me. Like I'm getting dizzy. And they're not all optimized for this size. So that one's okay. This one's great. I love that. This one's my favorite. This one's a little pixelated, so you may want to resize them or find ones that are bigger. This logo is so small, and the shadow, that's actually like, looks a little cheesy. Same thing with the font here. I think you can actually make this a little bit more on brand. And I don't know if that's like making it a little more earthy or I don't know, but it also looks like this is a navy blue. And then you've got this bright blue where it's okay. Oh, you know what I'm going to say about these three things? I'd rather have this spot here or up here. There's like this blank real estate. This is the #1 place people's eyes go to, is the top right. And I would love to see a sign up for my mailing list and get a free song here. Oh, look at this blue, Club Dave Music. Okay. We got a video, we got a bio, and we got all of these down here, all these blues. I like that you had them in black because then you're not actually helping promote Facebook's colors here. We've got a couple extra blues, gray. It's like a little too much color. I would maybe find a good consistent foundation color like this. Maybe this gray is actually and this blue are actually like white backgrounds, and then you just have this yellow or vice versa. Join the club, contact musings. I don't know what that is. Don't be cute in your menu. If it's a blog, say blog. What's passport? Like, I don't even know what that is. Like, do you provide passport services? Oh, it's a tour. Okay, so live music. Got it. So I shouldn't have to click here to know what it means. Again, you don't need home. Ideally, anything up in here will take you back home. So that's just taking up real estate. So you can get rid of that. Maybe take the shadow off of this and update this logo, or take the words out because I can't read it. And I have really good eyes. Made in Omaha and the world. Okay. All right. So it looks to me like you play live a lot. So my guess, like, yes, we all want to sell our music, but my guess is that if you have this passport tour, you're going to want people to come out to your shows. So I would actually have that front and center. I'd make some cool graphics and hold on them a little longer that say next show, or, you know, put in your calendar or something. Cause I think this is cool. And from your photos, it looks like live is your thing. And I could be wrong because I've been wrong before. It's happened twice. And cool. There you go. Oh, I see a question. Final question. Is the 197-month option for the course, is that 197 for 2 months and then 103? No, it's 197. It's 3 payments of 197. So if you pay up front, you get a discount. essentially is how that works. And if you want to do a payment plan, then you pay a little bit more over time, but you get charged once a month for $197. Does that make sense? So you just get like a recurring subscription, so you don't have to think about it. You don't have to come in and pay again. It's just like you sign up for a subscription but it ends after 3 months. Got it. Okay, cool. Awesome. All right. 7 minutes till 2:30, you guys. I can do one more. Dan, I can do yours. Here we go. Let's come back to the screen. Curls check in. Oh, they're so cute. Okay. I have straight hair, you guys, and in the summer it's like impossible to curl. So, all right. Now we're going to Dan's website. Here we go. Dan Barton. Okay. The black and white with orange theme again among the gents here in this webinar. Again, beautiful. I like that your name is not a standard script up in the left there. This, and I can see that also will click to home. Look, it's reloading on your home. So again, we don't need this here. I love a nice clean menu. I'm telling you. So get rid of home. Film and video. All right. Music for solo voice, chorus, and piano. Film and video, scores, library. So what's the difference between film and video and scores would be my first question, not having done any work, right? So if I don't want to do any work here and I want to hear your music, do I need to go to scores to hear your film and video scores, or do I need to go to film and video to hear your film and video scores? I'm so confused. So let's click and let's find out. Okay, so you've scored these things. Great. Commercial, films, trailers. So then what the heck is scores? Interesting. Actual scores. Got it. Okay. I would maybe call this sheet music or something else. Like, I'm not dumb, but that didn't make sense to me up here. So people are going to have to click around, and you want to just manage people's expectations of what they're going to find, right? Library. Again, your past music of scores you've done. So piano reel, orchestral and cinematic. Maybe this is audio reels or something like that. And how is your library different than your albums? Like, are you soundtrack? All. I wonder about this page. I wonder if it's necessary. And you bring this album to maybe it's music projects instead of library, and you have the album, and then you have reels, or maybe you have, album, or as a singer-songwriter album, then you have piano reel, like orchestral reel, or I don't know. I don't love that this graphic is covered over here because it's a cool graphic. So I either want it there or not there. Yeah, I hope that makes sense. I'm always a big fan of putting a footer with your contact there, but that's cute too. You're in Boston. Very cool. So yeah, I think it's a gorgeous site. It does what it needs to do. All of these tips, you guys, everyone here has great looking websites. This was all, let's get nitty gritty, and hopefully that was helpful. Again, thank you for being here. You're going to get some follow-up emails. Don't be scared. Emails never killed anybody. And I'll just make sure that you got everything. There's going to be the free checklists, and depending on if you signed up for MX4 today, there'll be, scheduling our video call together where we can have some wine or a LaCroix. And thanks for being here. Have a wonderful rest of your week. And I'm happy that you're in my tribe. So there you go. So I'm going to end this, and have a wonderful rest of your day.